Let's go! Did the Georgia Bulldogs get screwed out of a college football playoff berth in this SEC championship game? Comment down below. Do you believe the referees actually decided this one? And this was, to me, the first really bad call that we'll break down here. It wasn't the first bad call of the entire game. Look, 17-10, 7:05 left to go, 2nd and 5. This is not a horse collar, if you ask me. As you can see, it does look like the arm is just, or the hand is just grabbing the top of the jersey. And that left hand, of course, is on the shoulder pad. I hate penalties that have no effect on the play that get called when they weren't really penalties. Even if he's not making this tackle, this is being stopped for at most a 2 or 3 yard gain. So to me, bad call. You would think normally on a bad call like that one that the players would be clamoring for a horse collar, but they're not, right? So you'll see it here. Obviously, left arm is just not even close to being a horse collar. It's the right arm or hand, if you will, that is obviously blocked off by this viewpoint by Roydell Williams. It's still blocked off, so you can't really see it from this camera angle. So, yeah, I guess if you're an Alabama fan, you think that, of course, is a horse collar. Now, if you want my super detailed film study on this play and many others, it's down below. But, look, you guys asked me to do a referee breakdown of this game, so we'll do it, okay? So, I'll go ahead and just run this play at regular speed for you. And because this was completed, it wasn't even, discussed at all. This is a ridiculous good throw and catch from Carson Beck to Bell here. But this is pass interference. I mean, you just can't let people do this, okay? I mean, he is mauling him right here, all over him. And there was no whistle for pass interference at all. Imagine if that had been incomplete. And you'll get an extra look of it here. Once again, just kind of, recorded off a TV screen, but it pretty much shows you exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, that is a mauling. No flag, but, no harm, no foul, right? I was also sent this one on Twitter, Ladd McConkey going up against the same DB, Terrion Arnold. And this is also pass interference. This one I don't think is as egregious as the one, we just saw. So far, so good. Looks like some pretty good coverage, but you'll see right there. I mean, he's just going through his back. Pause. You'll see it again right here. This one's a little bit more simultaneous and a little bit more forgiving. But that is PI. Now, if you want to support independent content, go right on ahead, hit that super thanks button. It goes an absolute long way. So, let's talk about this play, this deep ball to Smith. Obviously, they ended up ruling this a catch, but I don't know how you take the time to review this one. And then the one we were about to show you, the big Isaiah Bond play, wasn't reviewed at all, even though it just comes out that the powers that be did actually review the Isaiah Bond play, which would have been a very quick review if you actually put a timeline together. So they end up reviewing this one. And honestly, I'm okay with the review just be, hits the ground. So the reason why that's important is because Georgia couldn't hurry up to the line of scrimmage and run their offense. It allows, Bama to set up their defense. Now let's, of course, get to some plays that went in Georgia's favor. This was an absolutely huge one that I could have seen potentially go either way. So the white hat here rules him down, and Jalen Milroe felt he wasn't down. And it was very freaking close, right? This ended up being a huge scramble for Alabama if the play was allowed to be continued. So let's see here. Yeah, I mean, that looks down to me, the back of his leg is grazing the ground. But I also could have seen this go the other way. I really, really, really could have. Got this play right here by Carson Beck. A good throw right here to Lovett over the middle. And, of course, he catches it. And this is kind of a gray area, if you ask me. He picks up the first down, and he's stuffed. Okay? He's not going anywhere. But, one thing we have seen is offensive linemen coming from behind and pushing the pile forward. And you'll see right here at the end, Cedric Van Pran Granger comes in hot. And a lot of Alabama fans viewed this as a cheap shot. Okay? Right into the side of a Georgia player. Is that a cheap shot? You let me know in the comment section below. It did obviously bring Marshall, down. But Marshall number 17 here. So, yeah, it looks like this play is just done. And this does seem very unnecessary. And it could injure Marshall. So, yeah, if that was flagged, I think you could have justified that. But I also understand what Van Pran would say is like, hey, I'm just trying to push this pile forward to gain a few extra yards. Now we get to this 3rd and 9. And once again, I am okay with this being let go on both sides. We broke this play down in the film study, how good of a pass rush move this was from 11. And honestly, how good of a throw this was for Milroe to even give this a chance. If he had time to throw, he's hitting Burton wide open in the back of the end zone. But if you watch, he is there early, right? So in theory, this is pass interference. But really slowed down, it looks simultaneous. I guess they let PI just go on both sides. But, yeah, I could have seen this one flagged. All right, so let's talk about the play, okay? Now, before we do, understand that the penalty disparity was about the same, right? Georgia had 5 for 56. Alabama had 3 for 36. The refs did let them play. But this one call is enough for me to say that the referee luck, if you will, went in Alabama's favor. It also didn't help that Georgia had their own self-inflicted wounds, right? Obviously, most notably, the big fumble, which was a self-inflicted fumble, that was the only turnover in the game, right? So when you look at the total yards and the yard per play, you'll see how even it was. And in the film study that we did, you can honestly just see how evenly matched these two teams actually are. Now, there is a huge debate, and it's moving, okay? I'll even zoom it all the way in just for each and every one of you Bama fans letting me know that this was indeed a catch. It wasn't. The ball clearly moves on this replay. Now, I tend to side with the receiver on these, right? But that is enough movement for me to say that the ground aided him with the catch. It didn't look like he had complete control of the catch with the ball hitting the ground. You don't have to remind me of the rule that the ball can hit the ground and it still be a catch. I know the rule. Did this call cost Georgia the game? Well, it's kind of tough to say, right? I don't think this was the total most egregious screw job in the world, even though this call did shift momentum, right? Georgia's getting the football in really good field position, down only 10-7. They get that extra possession before the end of the half, and then they get possession to start the second half. That is crazy to me, how big of a call this actually was because of, the middle eight, right? But for me to sit here and say that Georgia was screwed by the referees, I don't know if I can go that far. I do think Alabama was the better team. I think they called and created more adjustments. Now, here's what I'm going to do. There was a game that one SEC team was totally screwed versus Alabama, and it was so bad. That video will be floating in your face, bang, right now. It is. SEC. Boom! And we're doing chicken tonight. Let's go.